When we think about and how far things have come, they did everything in their power to destroy the family unit of the African Americans.
As a black man, when I'm telling you what I go through in America, it's not no Arab alive that can relate to what I've been through.
Was hip hop weaponized?
I think the music industry is evil. I think it's cowardly. Like, so many of these institutions have been weaponized.
I believe people like you use it as a weapon for good now.
I had a song called Philistine. I like to call it Philistine. Stan is for land of. So Philistine is the land of Philly, and it's also our way of honoring Gaza. In that same song, I talked about selling drugs to my own people. I talked about sleeping with women. I talked about gangs. They made me take one thing out the song. In the song, I said 5 million, something, stack some money on my Jew shit. Now, they consider that anti-Semitic.
How can we fix what's going on in the world unless we want for our brother what we want for ourselves?
I tell them all the time, when I'm handing them food, for the love and sake and the permission of Allah, they say thank you. You know what I say? No, thank you. I'm down there chasing good deeds. I'm down there because I love my people.
Today, I'm honored to have a special guest, West Philly's finest, my friend and new brother, Tone Trump. You've seen him with all the big heavy hitters in the industry, in the hip-hop world. He's also a fellow Muslim, and we're here to talk about everything, his life, his work, and all the stuff that's going on in the world we live in. Tone Trump, peace and blessings be upon you. Welcome to the pod, my brother.
Peace and blessings be upon you. I'm honored to be here. Alhamdulillah. Let's do it.
So before I even met Tone, before I even met you, the first time I met you, you invited me to a very special gathering. I want to start there. Always been a fan of Philly Freeway Philly. Right. CeeLo Green, I mean, who don't know him? Right?
Absolutely.
And it was just very honorable that even though you had never met me in physical life, physically met me, we never shook hands, never hung out, nothing, the first place you brought me to was not only to meet you, but to meet two people that I was just very honored to meet them and be a part of that whole video shoot. And the song is a beautiful song, Ma'aki's Keeper. Aki means brother in the religion of Islam. And you've always loved to say that want
for your brother what you want for yourself, and love for your brother and your sister what you love for yourself. It's not just that I say it, but that's from peace be and blessings be upon him, the last and final prophet, Prophet Muhammad.
Peace be upon him. And I think that's the biggest problem that our entire community is really, I don't think enough people talk about it. How can we fix what's going on in the world unless we want for our brother what we want for ourselves?
Absolutely.
And I don't care what anyone says. Because if we can't call out the problems in our own community, that's what makes us hypocrites, in my opinion.
I agree.
So if people are mad about what's happening in the Middle East and what's happening in Palestine and all these things that have been going on, how are we going to fix it when we can't get past step one? And step one to me is to what you say. Want for your brother what you want for yourself.
Yes, sir.
In my experience, I'm not going to lie, in my experience, it's been harder to get love back. I'm talking financially. And if we don't take care of each other financially, how are we going to prosper? How are we going to fix the issues in the world? We can't.
Wow, I agree. I never even thought about it like that, but that's 1,000% correct. And the biggest example I could give you is throughout my career, in the first half of my career, you know, I was pushing a negative line for without make a long story short. So, you know, I was pushing a lot of the propaganda that the music industry, you know, lets you profit from. You know what I mean? Like when I rap about, you know, killing and selling drugs and stuff like that, I was making a lot of money. And when I decided to change my narrative and to change my lifestyle, I tell people all the time, like when people say, is he doing the Muslim thing for clout? I said, I took a crazy pay cut to do this. I took a crazy, like I lost deals. I didn't gain more deals in that world. By saying free Palestine, I've been shadow banned on social media. You know, I've lost numerous deals. I've lost friends. I've lost businesses just from my stance religiously and politically. So I'm always offended when people, you know, even insinuate anything that I'm doing Islamically is for some type of edge. I do believe when you have a law on your side, you always have the advantage. And my religion teaches me that if a law takes something from you, he'll replace it with something the same or better. So even though I took a financial cut, the peace and the love that I get, it might sound crazy or cliche, but I'd rather have that than when I had the money and I had, you know, and not to say I don't have money now, but I don't have as near as much money as I had when I sold drugs or when I was doing what they call gangster rap. You know, I took a big pay cut.
Did you end up embracing Islam? So you were not born a Muslim.
Oh, I was born a
Muslim. You were born a Muslim.
So let me. I love that question.
So start me. Here's what I want to do. My audience knows I always like to go back to the beginning. So basically, where did your life start? what was it like growing up and where you grew up? And then how do you have this spiritual journey where you end up being a Muslim and make that more of a priority in your life than anything else?
Well, one thing I like to say, because a question that all black Muslims get is, when did you become Muslim? They like to say, well, when did you convert? One thing I always say is I like to say revert, because I believe everybody is born Muslim. I truly believe that. So I believe people revert. Now, for me, I was born in West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and my father and my uncle were very prominent in the Nation of Islam. And then through the years, like when I was very, very young, my father had reverted to what some people call Sunni Islam, traditional Islam, or Orthodox Islam. So with that being said, and then I had a mother. My mother, in the first half of my life, she wasn't with my father. So my mother, in her journey, my mother went from being a lady that was strong in the church to then my mother reverted back to Islam. So Islam has always been prevalent in my life, in my family, in my neighborhood.
So spirituality was important in your family?
All the time. I knew the power of prayer as a baby. My kids is in the other room. They know the power of prayer. If I called them in here right now and said, make dua, I don't got to explain what that is. They would go to make dua, so.
And dua, for those of you that are not Muslims, means when you supplicate the Creator. So there's something that's called worship, which is non-negotiable.
Right.
You're showing that respect. It's like calling God 5 times a day. So Muslims believe 5 times a day, you have to stop whatever you're doing to show reverence to the Creator that you're even alive at that moment.
Yes,
but it
sir.
also keeps us in check.
Yes, sir.
And then the second thing that you're mentioning is the dua. So the duas, you'll see sometimes in videos, Muslims raise their hands like a beggar, but we're begging the Creator.
Begging him.
And we believe, and I've seen it manifest in my life many times. I think that's why we're even at the table.
That's how we know
I
each
didn't
other.
know who you were.
That's right.
And through this asking God to help and guide, and He has wisdom that none of us have.
Absolutely.
These miracles happen in our life.
Right.
So that's what the dua means. So you've
and the
noticed
dua,
an impact in your life.
And the dua is the weapon of the believer. My dua protects me more than my armed security, more than any gun I could buy. Those prayers, those supplications is the reason why I'm in this multi-million-dollar studio in the biggest city in America. And like I said, I'm a kid from 54th Street in West Philly, where just coming to New York is a sign of success. Just literally, like if somebody just goes to New York, you could literally go here and just take pictures in Times Square. Where I come from, the beginnings I come from, that would have been like a accomplishment. So for me to be out here thriving for the last 20 years, mashallah, is only because of the will of Allah. But yeah, so I always knew about prayer. My mother is a prayer warrior. My father wasn't really in my life, but I'm always grateful to him because he is the reason and the basis of Islam. So,
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around.
He's still alive?
Yeah, yes, mashallah, he's still alive.
Explain to people who are not from Philly, don't know much about Philly, what it was like growing up in your community. What was life like as a child in Philly?
I'm gonna tell you.
And what is it like now?
I'm gonna tell you, going back to my childhood, one thing I could tell you to give you an idea what it was like. This tattoo on my right hand, the 4933 on my right hand, I got this when I first started rapping, and the reason I got that 4933, it was a reminder of where I started from. So 4933 Hoop Street was the first house I lived in. And it was my grandmother's house. Like in the black community, the black grandmother is like the hub. Like no matter you could talk to probably 100 artists, and I guarantee you at least 75 of them are going to say my grandma helped raise me, or my grandma. A lot of us in my era, because of the government putting crack in our community, it took our fathers away, whether it was jail or them being addicted. So growing up when I was a kid, it was the results of the crack epidemic. So when I grew up, coming to my grandmother's house, the best example I could give you in 5th grade, I'll never forget this. The principal over the loudspeaker said, they would do like the deli wrap up, and she said, and to all the children, do not walk through 49th and Hoop Street. And imagine being a kid and you lived on that block when they say that. So that gives you an idea what my block was like. But as a kid, I didn't know it was like bad or crazy because
it's all you ever knew.
It's all I knew. And when my first signs of success, I just wrote on Instagram the other day, like as a kid being 10 years old and seeing, it was a guy named Paddles. He had bought the Burgundy 740 Volvo. Another guy named Brock, he had bought the CLS Blue Benz. And then Mikey, who was like 16 years old. When I'm a little kid, so imagine when you 10, 16 is like an older guy to you, but he was 16 and he had the red Mickey T Jeep like Nino on New Jack City with the top off. So for me as a little 10-year-old kid, I didn't see a doctor or a dentist or a surgeon. I saw Mikey, Paddles, Brock, Gary Green, Nafis. I seen these brothers in my neighborhood who were able to get these nice cars, and they were bringing the groceries in for their moms, and they were young. So for me, it was like, I want to do that. So as a kid, I never looked up to no rappers. Being a rapper was like corny to me. It was like, he fake, he a cornball. I wanted to be like the guys in the streets. Now at my big old age I'm at now, obviously I realized that was not the right thing. But I'm grateful for those experiences, because even now, like when you said you met me and I was with CeeLo and Freeway and stuff like that, you know, the things I learned on that block is what made me be able to approach CeeLo when we first met, and to have that relationship now for the past 10 years. Because CeeLo's a 5-time Grammy winner, and I'm a kid from the streets of Philly. Most people, the first question I used to get is like, how'd y'all even meet? And I always give all praise be to Allah, but it also is, you know, what my mother instilled in me, you know, being a man. You know, like I tell my kids all the time, if I die today, I'm going to die a man. You know, I never ran, I never told on nobody. I love my people. When I got it, my neighborhood got it. When I got it, my block got it. When I got it, my friends got it. My brothers got it. My sisters got it. And when I say got it, I mean anything. Like right now, yesterday I went and bought sneakers for my whole neighborhood. Not because I'm rich, but I had it. And they did a giveaway in my hood, and they didn't get the kids no sneakers. Me remembering being 10, 11, having new sneakers the first day of school, your audience might not understand what that means, but in the black community, you not having new sneakers could determine the rest of your school year as far as bullying, where you sit at the lunch table, friends, everything. So my thing is, now with them wearing uniforms, it's harder to tease the kids. So you know what the first thing they do? They look at somebody's sneakers. So for me,
because everyone got the same clothes on.
There you go. So for me, I made it a point to say that every kid from 54th Street is going to have whatever Jordans they want, whatever Nikes they want. And I know some people watching will say, well, what's the big deal? That's just fashion. Yeah, it's deeper than fashion for our community and our culture. And I ain't make the rules. You know, I was born into them. So for me, when I was young, wasn't no rappers buying me sneakers. You know, it was the dope boys. It was the hustlers. They looked out for us. You know, I remember going to the store for the old heads, and I used to love this. They would give me $100 bill and say, yo, go get me a pack of Newports and something. So basically, they stuff would come at like $6, let's just say. I would get $94 change, and I would go to give him his change. Say, yo, that's for you, young boy. I would take that change, go back to the store and say, can I get all ones? So I could have a big old whack of money pretending like I was them. But that also was teaching me financial freedom. That was teaching me business. And it might seem crazy, but I learned more from them people in my neighborhood than I ever learned in school. Ever. You know what I mean? So
it's safe to say, though, where you grew up was very dangerous.
It was very dangerous. It was very poverty stricken, flooded with drugs, but it also was like the most beautiful place in the world. The irony of it is crazy to say, but seeing that sense of community, like knowing that you can knock on the door next to you and say, hey, y'all got some sugar? You know what I mean? We ain't had no sugar, and they give you sugar or whatever.
So as long as you were from that community, pretty much you guys were all okay there.
Yeah, I ain't know I was poor until like I got older. Like, so I was like grown. Like I was like, dang, we had it hard, but I didn't know that. My mother is the greatest mother that ever lived, and she's still alive, mashallah. And it's like I could complain about my dad being not around, but that would take away from my mother's greatness. So I'd rather praise my mother than disrespect or disregard my father, because he still played a part in giving me life. He gave me a slam, and my father was great musically, so I got so much from him without even knowing. You know what I'm saying? So, but my mother, the reason why I'm the man I am, I said this on another interview, the reason why you even want to interview me is for the things that my mother instilled in me. You know what I mean? So I'm always grateful to her. So I didn't know it was like crazy living up there. But now when I look back, you know, like my kids, mashallah, they were born to a very good life. My kids don't have a clue what that life is like. My kids wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? Like I tell their mother all the time, you know, just something as simple as like eating out. Like when I was little, eating out was like a holiday. Like my kids eat out 4 or 5 times a week. They're not even like, I don't want to say they're not grateful, but it's not a big deal for me to be like, hey, let's go get some Chick-fil-A or something like that. That's normal. That's just like lunchtime for us. When I was a kid, when my mother would get us that McDonald's 2 cheeseburger meal, bro, that was like getting like filet mignon when I was growing up. So it teaches you to be grateful, and the law promises that if you're grateful, I'll give you more. So I'm super
one of my
grateful.
favorite quotes, too.
Yeah, I'm super
true.
I'm super grateful.
And you know what? With everything going on in the world right now, and you see how people are struggling. I've had my family in war, right?
Right.
So I know what it's like, what they're going through in Gaza right now, what they're going through in Sudan right now. No one mentions our brothers in China, the Uyghurs. It's like they've been forgotten.
Congo,
you
know, ghetto America,
the Rohingya,
the Rohingya everywhere.
You know, I'm on the front lines, like you are, battling these misconceptions of our faith, that it's a violent religion, that we're full of hatred, that, you know, you got people fueling this hatred. So it's
propaganda, and people have to start to smarten up. Anytime somebody, like we were talking before we start filming about the lady
Laura Loomer, disgusting human being, bro.
Right. And the thing is, like, even right now, we doing what she did that for us to talk about. If she doesn't burn the most beautiful and perfect book ever to exist.
Well, that was the Gomez lady. We're gonna get to
Oh, that was her. Okay.
Laura Loomer is
Which one is
someone
that
that's
one?
she's really big right now on, Twitter X, pushing
Oh, I know you're talking about.
everything that's going on
from
is
New York, right?
Islam's fault and the Muslims'
Okay,
fault,
yeah,
and this is
yeah,
a
yeah, I know
religion
you're
that is violent and full of hatred. Yo, you should be ashamed to be from the Jewish community and not just do a simple Google search. How were Muslims treated? How were Jews treated under the Muslim rule?
Right.
And the only argument they have is about one tribe that was wiped out during the time of the Prophet. Why was it wiped out, though?
Hello.
Because they had an alliance. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is being attacked by his own family, his own people, the pagans.
Yeah.
So he made an alliance with a Jewish tribe that lived in that part of the world at the time. Now, we have an alliance even in the code of the streets.
Right.
Yo, no beef, no beef. I'm not gonna take what's not mine and you don't take what's not yours, and we're not gonna betray each other.
Yeah.
Because even whether it's in the streets or whether it's on Capitol Hill, if you commit treason, the punishment for treason is what?
Death.
Death.
That's right.
Not only did they break the alliance that the Prophet Muhammad had with that
So
one
son.
tribe,
Right.
peace be upon him, they in mid-battle turned on him. Could have been annihilated, wiped out. What was he going to do after that? That was the code of war. It's always been, it always will be. Even today, if I commit treason, the punishment's up to execution in the United States of America.
That's right.
So we don't deny that happened,
Not
but
at
why
all.
did it happen? Put it
Right.
into context.
Right.
But you're going to ignore what? 1,000 years of protection. Oh, they paid a jizya tax. The Muslims, when they rule, they make the non-Muslims pay a tax. Yeah, that tax was under 5%.
Right.
We're paying 40, 50% just in federal income tax.
Not only that.
How many tolls you paid to get here today? How many tolls? You had to pay $25 just to get into Manhattan
Just
right
to
now.
get into Manhattan.
Making it an island that the poor can't even access.
Can't even access. Wow. That's deep.
Okay, we're living in a Hunger Games society, and they
We
want
are.
to talk about the Muslim system from 1,400 years ago that I would take right now. As a non-Muslim, I only got to pay up to 5%, and I don't have to fight in any of your wars.
Right.
We're not the ones that massacred them. We're not the ones that created the Inquisition.
Not at all.
We're not the ones that created the Holocaust.
That's right.
And what's their agenda? People like Laura Loomer fuel an agenda to make Christians and Muslims hate each other.
You better believe it.
Okay? Because if we're only 12 million, how are we gonna stop these two powers? Convince them to fight and kill each other. And that's exactly what's going on. Not by all Jews.
No, not at all.
And I hate anyone that hates all Jews.
That's right.
Because there's plenty of them that are speaking out against what's happening. There's plenty of them that are, this is wrong, this needs to end. There's plenty of them saying that's not the history of Islam. Actually, you're wrong.
Let me say this too.
And this is the problem. We're fighting ignorance, my brother.
I have never been to a rally for Palestine that there weren't Jews there with us, standing arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, supporting us, speaking out. Literally, I've never been to one. And people have to understand when we speak about Palestine, I don't even use the word Jewish or Jews because the people that are propagating that genocide, I don't even look at them like true Jews. It's just like if Muslims were doing that, I wouldn't look at them like Muslims. So I don't look at them.
We call out extremists all the time. I call them out.
That's right.
I call them out.
That's right.
But to think, every group, look at what happened in Minnesota yesterday.
SubhanAllah.
May God have mercy on those families.
I mean,
My heart aches for them. But you got that community from the trans, the LGBTQ. The last 7 massacres of children has been their community.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay? And what? Here's my whole thing. Like,
Wait,
extremism.
The person who did, because I ain't up on the Minnesota.
It was LGBTQ. He was a trans. He was a trans
I did
that
not
said,
know that.
I hate that I did this to myself. Wrote a whole manifesto that when I read, I cried on my podcast. I couldn't believe I know this is wrong. Why are you doing it? Because that's the shaitan, bro. That's the devil convincing you, give up on this life. There is no excuse for suicide, especially in Islam. Under any conditions, are you
Yeah.
allowed to take your own life?
Because you can't ask for forgiveness.
But you don't know what God's wisdom is. Maybe God wanted you to be captured, tortured to death, and that's how he purified you of your sins. That's why you can never take your life, and it ain't over until it's over. Maybe you would have been freed and rescued. You don't have God's wisdom. So therefore, to take your own life is to say you know more than God. You see what I'm saying?
That's heavy.
But to finish the point, extremism in any group, Muslims will say it. Our prophet taught us that. We are a people of the middle. Don't be a people of the extreme. Whether it's feminism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, alternate lifestyles, feminism, which I call feminazism at this point because it's all about emasculating men. Anything to the extreme
No, you're right.
is forbidden, especially from our faith.
That's right.
But this narrative that we're full of hatred, we want to wipe everyone out. The prophet could have wiped out everyone, and he didn't. We could have wiped out the Jews 1,000 times already. What did? We did the opposite. We saved them.
Even after the Holocaust, people don't know. Like, if you just like pick up a book, or nowadays everybody likes to Google everything. If people was to know the history in Palestine, that when the immigrants came in there, those people embraced them people and loved them people and protected them people. There's no story. There's no story of them. There's not one story of, oh, the Palestinians did this to the. You know, there's not one story like that.
They should
not
be
one.
ashamed. And why am I saying this? It's not to pick on the Jewish community. But if you're going to sit there and use my religion, which protected you throughout history,
Right.
and if I stay silent, may God curse me, bro. May God curse me. Every Muslim has a duty.
That's right.
2 billion people. They have this whole apparatus, the media magnifying people like Laura Loomer, people like Charlie Kirk.
Oh, I can't.
Clown.
Yeah, super clown.
And what are they doing? Fueling hatred, which is only going to create more violence.
And they don't really believe the stuff they're saying. We have to understand.
It's crazy,
One
bro.
day is inshallah.
And then look how we went off because we're more worried about talking about what's going on in the world than even. But I'm here to talk about your story.
Well, yeah, but
our hearts are swollen.
But and right, and that is my story too. You know what I mean? Every day I wake up, like, you know, like I feel guilty sometimes. Like, you know, like I'll post, like the brother was talking about being vain. You know, I'll post my dinner. You know what I mean? Like the other night, I had a bunch of seafood on the island in my home, and beautiful home, beautiful food, beautiful kids. And I posted it, and then somebody commented something about Gaza, and right away I was like, damn, like I almost felt guilty.
That's why we went off on this tangent. When you
Right.
mentioned about being more grateful, now I remember why we kind of went off on a tangent here. Because of what's going on back home, like you mentioned.
It's the reason why I got this hat on the table, because everything I do is intentional. Like, it's like somebody said to me the other day, they was like, man, you shadow banned. And I said, in this era, I would be offended if I wasn't shadow banned. It's a lot of people I know. It's a lot of artists I know that aren't shadow banned because they don't talk about nothing that matters.
Oh, you mean
if I just talked about my jewelry all day and where I lived, I'd probably get 10 million
You
views
mean
a day.
like a famous DJ who won't open his mouth? Are you allowed to even talk about that? Or?
I'm allowed to talk about whatever I want because I only fear law. And one thing, I
You
was
mean like a
let me say
DJ that's
something.
from there? And it's not even to call for violence, but you can't even say, I'm praying for peace. You could at least say that.
Right.
So there's no excuse
Well,
for not opening your mouth.
No. Let me correct you. You said even not calling for violence, but this is the thing. Silence is violence. Silence is violence
allows
right
it to
now.
happen,
If
yeah.
for you to be quiet at a time like this, I feel like I was the first person to speak about DJ Khaled. I did a song called Free Palestine, which is streaming right now. I'm on there with a bunch of artists from all over the world. And in my verse, you know, I said, don't ask me about Khaled. That corny nigga, he ain't never been valid. And I felt that like, even before Palestine, you know, he's never been a voice of anything for the believers. He's never, you know, like, I just know him. Like, I know him. And a lot of times we point at Khaled, but it's a lot of other people, not even just Palestinians, just Muslims, period. Let me say this because this is important to me.
Sorry.
It's a lot of Muslims who have platforms. And the only thing I'm going to say to y'all, I could use this time right now to disrespect y'all because none of y'all could beat me. None of y'all tougher than me. But instead of doing that, I say this out of love. What if when we go before a law and the law asks you, what did you do with your platform?
We already know what he's going to say. He says it in the book. And they're going to beg, send me back. The Quran says, send me back. I'm going to use the blessings you gave me. They're going to beg to come back to this life.
I just got chills.
And what does he say to them? He already tells us the future in the book. And even if I sent you back, you would do exactly what you did. Meaning that your soul is what it is, brother.
And
But
if you could hear that, because listen, as Muslims, as non-Muslims, whatever you are, the reminder benefits the believer. If you can hear what he just said, that statement that he said that was written thousands of years ago.
That one sentence would
that
fix
one
everything in the
sentence,
world, bro. It would fix
everything.
the entire world.
But if you can hear that and that not, like it just gave me chills. And if you can hear that and it don't give you chills, or if you don't feel anything from it, you gotta check your heart because you have a dark heart. And I'm not judging anybody because I used to have a dark heart. I usually didn't give a fuck about a lot of things. Right. It was a time where I like what's going on. I can't say I would have never been quiet about Palestine. Like people, I have people, the people that love me the most have asked me to stop doing this. Yo, stop. You're gonna get hurt. And I'm just like, yo, with all the things I did in my life, if my Lord was to call me back while I was fighting for a genocide of my people I never met, If that's how I gotta go, alhamdulillah, because I could have died in a strip club. I could have died selling a bag of cocaine. I could have died having sex with a woman that wasn't my wife's. If I die screaming free Palestine, alhamdulillah. I promise you, I'm a dire man, and my kids know, love, and fear Allah. And my kids will actually be financially better if I died. You know, I'm not wishing that on myself, but fearing death at a time like this. I just posted a baby today. You can listen today on Instagram. I want to say her name, beautiful little Muslim girl, and it ain't about faith. It's about humanity. But today I posted a picture of a little girl today. Look at this little girl right here. Her name is Jory. This is her today. I posted this today. This little girl right here. This little girl don't got nothing to do with politics. This girl don't got nothing to do with none of that. And she was killed today, 4 years old. So if you worried about your record deal or your job or anything like that, and you can't say something, you can't just say that that's wrong, that little Jory was killed, you a fucking sucker. And I don't care what your religion is, what your record, I don't care. I lost so much respect. I don't respect none of these guys. It's not a rapper you can name, and I don't even want to get into that. But I don't respect none of these guys. It's one thing if you don't. I had an artist hit me up. This is a true story. Let me say this. This brother has millions of followers. When the situation happened last year with the so-called kidnapping, remember they were trying to say babies' heads were getting cut off and all that?
Right when it started.
Which was proven was a lie.
Yes.
Which was proven that the president of the president of America said that was a lie after he stood behind it. Yeah. But let me say this. An artist at that time had put up something about like pray for Israel. Muslim artist. He immediately, his comments went crazy. He called me right away, said, yo, what's going on? Why is everybody? I said, yo, bro, you got to take that down. I said, this is what's going on. I educated him. He said, oh, I was just, he said, one of my friends hit me and said this was going on. So he was just trying to be supportive, allegedly. He takes it down. That's not the thing. Millions of followers. I just educated you what's going on. Your so-called friend, which really meant one of his bosses, because he's in the algorithm.
Handler.
Right, one of his handlers told him post this. He took it down. To this day, this was last year when all that stuff happened. He has never, ever posted one thing. This guy posts every day about everything you could think of. Sports, being funny, all this stuff. Has never posted one thing about Palestine. I won't say his name on here because I don't want to make it about him.
You don't have to.
No, but he know who I'm talking about. Coward, because your friend telling your so-called friend, your Zionist friend who said, hey, put this up to support my people, you put it right up because you know that's somebody that's helping your handler, like you said. But your brother in faith told you what was going on, told you how our people were hurting, dying, how they were lying in the propaganda, and you couldn't muster up one post. Like you said, you don't got to be the most super Palestine guy, but you couldn't put up one post saying, yo, this is wrong. I've went back to people I seen said they support Israel and literally DM'd them in private and said, hey, man, you still feel the same way? And some of them have even came back and said, hey, bro, I didn't know all of this. I respect that a little bit. They still suckers too.
But you know what's crazy too?
What's that? Go ahead.
Leave the fact that DJ Khaled hasn't said a word. That's your blood. That's your people.
Right.
Let alone you could just say, I just wish this would end and we need peace and the world's got to fix it. At bare minimum, you could kind of get away with that, right? Not only does he not do any of that, but you're going to post pictures of you on the beach with your fat ass stomach. And I'm a fat man, so I can make fun of him. Holding up drinks while you know your people are starving and dying. To me, it's like, bro.
I almost felt like I felt like he was really. I felt like he was trolling. I felt like he was trolling.
Yeah, on purpose.
I really do that.
I honestly thought the same way. It's like basically.
Remember when I said I'm a dire man?
Yeah.
He got to look in the mirror, bro. You think his wife?
You can't buy your face back.
You
bro.
think his wife respect? Right. You think your wife respects you?
His own family does. All his cousins spoke out against it.
And let me tell you something.
You could have all the money in the world. If you're hated by your own people and your own family, bro, you're nothing. I don't care if you have $1 billion. You're fucking trash. You can't buy back honor.
That's right.
You can't buy honor back. Woo. Now, you can make mistakes in life.
I'm going to use that as a caption. I'm letting you know now I'm stealing that one. You can't buy back honor. You guys are dishonorable.
You can make mistakes in life.
Absolutely.
As we all have.
I made mistakes this morning.
And acknowledge what I did was wrong, change your life, and make up for it. But what he's done now, there's no coming back from.
Even deeper than that. Listen to this.
There's no coming back from it.
I always try to bring it back to the religion. And this is for my young Muslims, my new Muslims. I'm going to tell y'all something that I live by because I have lived a wild life. Allah loves those that repent. Sincerely. Allah loves those that repent sincerely. So You know, we all, like he said, make mistakes.
If you're not ashamed of what you've done wrong to God.
There you go.
And when you're in silence, you know, between you and God, praying, crying, because you know you feel when your heart is hard, you don't feel it. I've been there too. When you're doing stuff for the Lord, drinking, and all these things that I come from that world too. Right. I was in nightlife for 25 years. All right. Even right now, if we want, there's not a club we can't walk into right now.
I know you invited me to the club before.
I wouldn't go into a club.
Remember the rooftop? Come to the rooftop,
Tone. But not to drink, to chill.
You're right.
And the rooftop is not the nightclub.
Did I show up? Tell the people right while we on camera.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Oh no, you did. I'm sorry.
I ain't go nowhere near that
you
club.
To come hang out outside, but it wasn't the club though.
Right.
It's the roof.
Okay.
The roof has a pool. It's outdoors. You can have it's not a club. The club is below though.
Right.
One floor down is a whole nother.
You can feel the bass from the club on your feet.
So what I'm saying is, I know what it's like when you're on the path, you fall off the path.
Right.
That's another message we need to pass everyone.
I love that.
You could fall off the path, but you gotta come. I understand, like your heart dies, the spiritual heart. Right. Because as you sin, the prophet said himself, is a black spot. It becomes literally like a rock. God says in the book, some of you, your hearts are harder than rocks. No, there are rocks that are softer than your hearts. Right. Meaning that's how. So how do you think someone becomes a mass killer? It means nothing to them. Same things happen in the streets, war zones. You get used to that. So
that's very true.
The message is a message of glory. It's a message of peace and surrender. Meaning, what is God? It's one of my favorite things, right? Even if your sins were as high as the sky, as long as you turn to me and you stop what you're doing, I'll forgive you.
Sincerely. We got to make sure we say sincerely.
But if you're not feeling that shame from your past, then that's an indicator that
no, that's real, man. You know what I.
You're not on the right path. You got to feel shame first for what you've done, because that's why God gave us shame. You're like, man, what did I do?
No, man.
How did I do this?
When I think about that, you know what I think about? When I first started to feel that shame, I was equating that with me getting older. I was like, certain things would happen. Even something as simple as I would be on social media.
I thought too, like my testosterone's low.
Yeah, I was like, yo, like certain
I said, shit, my testosterone must be low.
Certain videos would like make me sad, like shit that I wouldn't have cared about a couple years ago.
That was your heart coming back to life.
Alhamdulillah. And I started to have to realize that. Like, it was like, yo, man, there's nothing wrong with growing up. There's nothing wrong with getting closer to God is a good thing. So for me, it's like I struggled with that at first, but I love how you worded that, and that's true.
It takes time to come back.
It does.
It's covered, and I hate to say it, your heart becomes covered in spiritual shit. And each prayer, and each fast, and each act of kindness, and maybe even reaching out to the people you've wronged, and asking for forgiveness.
Yeah, I ain't there yet.
And forgiving people that have done you wrong, because if you could show mercy to those, if they're real though, if they're sincere about it. Right? Because if we can't forgive others, then why should God forgive us? Yeah, it's hard. It's easier to say.
It's way easier to say.
I've had these issues in my life.
I got them forgiving. I got them right now. Yeah, that's something I'm struggling with right today.
I don't care what anyone says. Love is the most powerful emotion.
I agree.
It's a weapon that can conquer everything.
I agree.
So we kind of went off on a tangent, but
yeah, we did. But it was a beautiful tangent.
Yeah. What I want is, you grew up in a very rough part of town.
Yeah,
you grew up with,
West Philadelphia
without, and I kind of want to know, like, how do you get into the music thing? How does that all go down? You don't have to go. I'm a walk. How do you end up in the music thing? Where does this change come back to? Like, you know what? I'm gonna put Islam first and my career after it.
Well, for me, let me take you back a little bit. So
give us the story. How'd you get your break? How'd you start making music? All
right. So I'm gonna start when I was a kid up to that. The thing for me was, I'll never forget when I was in 4th grade, my mother said to me, she said, "You the man of the house." And I don't think she literally meant that. I think my mother should have been a motivational speaker, because she would just like gas me up. But I took that real serious. So with that responsibility, that's when I first got into the street. So literally 5th grade, I was a lookout in my neighborhood. A lookout means I would stand on the corner, or I would stand outside the house that the drug dealers was in, and I would warn them when the cops was coming.
C50 or maybe a DT in a
literally,
car.
I say 5. That was literally my code. So I was 50. Right.
Generation.
So that was my first job.
How old are you?
I was probably in.
I'm saying, how old are you right now?
Right now, I'm 100.
Ballpark.
I'm 100. I just
your
always
30s,
say I'm 100.
40s.
I'm 100. You're not gonna make me answer that. I'm 100. I'm the oldest person you gonna interview. I'm 100. I'm 100. I'm just so solid. I'm just a being. I lied about my age so much over the years. I don't even know if I know my real age. So I'm just 100. But what I was saying was, as a kid, when I got that responsibility, I dove into the streets. So the music came. Honestly, like, I didn't have any dreams or aspirations outside of sports. Every kid in the hood has like hoop dreams at one point. I got kicked out of school, so that put me 100% into the streets. I wasn't good at the streets, bro. My heart never was into it. Like, I was not a good drug dealer. I was not a good gangster. I was not a good bad guy, because you really got to have a dark heart to do that. And coming from the mother I had, in order to be a successful gangster, you have to be heartless, and I wasn't heartless. So I knew I needed something else. And at the time when I was like, I forget how old I was, but I got to give credit, obviously, to Freeway. He inspired me a lot because I seen him having success. It was a song called 1-900 Hustler that was on Jay-Z's album. Freeway is from my neighborhood. So for me, like, I saw somebody from my neighborhood. He was rapping forever. It was like, yeah, whatever. Nobody really paid it too much mind. He's on a song with Jay-Z at the time when Jay-Z's like about to take over rap. So it just showed me another way. So when I first started my dreams as a rapper, I couldn't rap at all. Like, I was not a good rapper at all, but I was always great at, I knew how to talk. I'm extremely attractive, mashallah, you know what I'm saying? And I've always was a leader. So I took those qualities, and as I was growing, I was learning how to get better as a rapper. But in the meantime, I was meeting everybody. I was in a lot of controversy. I came right in. I didn't respect rappers, so I came right in dissing everybody. And in my plan, like what I got from 50 Cent, I sat down in my crib one day. I said, I'm going to diss everybody they respect. All the guys that they think are so real and tough and gangster, I'm going to violate these niggas. And I did that, and I had everybody mad at me, but everybody was talking about me. I took that and cultivated that into a business, which is Tone Trump. Tone Trump is a business. My name, my government name, I was born Tony Bryce. My attribute is Abdul Salam. Tone Trump, I'm not Tone Trump. Tone Trump is in a corporation. It's a brand, it's a business. You see me today. It's a black truck. It's armed security. My children are with me. It's a running business. This isn't play. So I say that to say, when I got into this business, in order to be elite, relationships was more important than money. So I realized right away, no heart, no money. You had to have heart. I was going to LA with $200 in my pocket. I was going to Miami with no money, chasing my dream. I was coming to New York to see K Slay in the hardest neighborhoods. If anybody know K Slay, he's doing Sue's Rendezvous. Every gangster in New York is in there, Bloods, Crips, everything. I'm going up there, me and one other person, chasing my dream. When you say big break, I guess my big break probably would have been, I feel like I had so many big breaks, but the major break was obviously in 2012. I signed the record deal with CTE, Corporate Thugs Entertainment, which is owned by Young Jeezy. Jeezy is a Grammy-winning artist, one of the biggest artists in my culture. He was actually my favorite rapper. So imagine I went from writing these little corny raps that nobody liked to stepping my game up, building my buzz, building my business to the point where when Young Jeezy reached out to me. I wasn't sending my demo to niggas and no shit like that. I got a call. I met, he was in Philly for tour. I met him backstage. We exchanged some games, some words, and then like a week later, the president of his label called me. I had a record out called Afghan. Shout out to my Afghanistans. Now Afghan was a strand of weed that I was selling and make a lot of money from. So I made a song called Afghan. Afghan in my Dutchie. Speaking about Afghan weed, the Afghans love it. Like I'm just talking about, and I love them, and they some loyal people. So shout out to my Afghan.
One of the most ferocious.
Brave. Oh, we got a bunch of them. When you came to see me that day, it was a couple.
Khorasan.
It was a couple Afghan brothers there. My brother Interstate Snake, big boss from Virginia. He's part of the MDF. But what I was saying was, I did that record. They called me, and at the time I was doing good. I was an independent artist. I was living in a downtown loft in Philly. I thought I was the biggest star in the world. But this changed my life. The president called me and said, hey, send us Afghan with a verse open. Jeezy want to get on the record. When you coming up in music, you hear so many things. You get so many promises that I almost felt like, yeah, right. I was like, all right, I got you. I sent the record. They sent the record back the same day. I pushed play on this record, bro, on my phone. And I'm listening to my favorite rapper rap to my beat, saying my name, saying my neighborhood. And I looked at my girl at the time. I said, we did it.
There's the spark.
I said, we did it. And I turned that record that I made that record not even in a real studio. I was in South Jersey. Nigga had a studio in his room. The booth was his closet. Didn't charge me a penny. Probably shouldn't say that on camera because he might sue me, but he didn't charge me a penny. I did the record right there. And that record, I took that record. And in less than 2 years, I made probably $500,000. You know what I'm saying? So I took that and I invested in other things. Of course, real estate. I got right off tour. I bought investment properties, lost everything, and I was ungrateful. And when you're ungrateful, Allah will humble you like nobody else. So I ran the bag up. I had all this money, living good. I was literally dating one of the most beautiful women in the world. Everything is going great. And like, it feels like overnight, but it was over a course of 2 years. I literally lost everything. Every single dollar. Like when you look back, when you got a lot of money at one time, it's nothing like, especially coming from the hood, it's nothing like when you look at that account and it says account balance. Like, I'll never forget, bro, when I got my check from my record label, I never had a bank account before. So I literally got this big-ass check, and they like, take it to your bank. And I was embarrassed. I wasn't going, I'm like, I don't got a bank. You know what I'm saying? I went downtown Philly, so I go in there, I'm like, and it's crazy because at the time, everybody know me. So I'm in the bank, the little black girl excited because it's Tone Trump, and I'm like, yo, I need your help. She's like, what you need? I was like, I need a bank account. She helps me up. She set me up with a regular account and a business account. I pull a check out my pocket. The girl looked at me and was like, the fuck? I was like, yeah, that's my check. She was like, yo, we can't cash this because I'm a stupid little hood nigga. She was like, what you want back from this? I said, I want all that shit. Give me all my money. They take me to the back of the bank. I'll never forget it. Whatever they did, somehow they did it. They was like, we can give you what we have. How much? What's the most you want? So I was like, the most y'all can give me, give me. They gave me like, I want to say $12,000. I got in a cab. I took like $100 cab ride to my mom's house. I gave my mom $2,000. Like, yo, this is just something for now. My mom all happy. I went downtown and I spent $10,000 in like 3 hours, bro. Cause you think at the time I'm thinking like I'm rich, nigga. This shit ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying?
When you don't have it, I know.
And when I felt that, I felt it when I went broke. I never forget. One day I was sitting there, and when I say I went broke, my broke is different from y'all broke. It's for the niggas watching this, the haters. When I was broke, I never literally went back to mom's house or nothing. I was broke. I was fucked up. But for some niggas, my broke is they dream. So alhamdulillah. So I was down from that big bag I had, and all I could think about was that first day. And I realized, I said, what did I fucking buy that day? And I'm thinking about all the shit I bought, right? I didn't have one of those items. I didn't buy anything tangible. I went out and spent like 10 grand. I went to 9th and Market in Philadelphia. Bro, I was going in stores. Like, I always wanted to do shit like this. Like, I wasn't even trying shit on. I was like, the boy was like, how can I? I was like, yo, give me that. I want that and that and that. I'm just dumb shit. Like, I'm getting all type of fur coats and shit. And when I went broke, bro, I was sitting there about to cry. Like,
why'd I do that?
I gave all that shit away. As time goes, like none of that. I didn't have one thing from there.
Sound familiar? Al? So Tone, why do you need security, bro?
Why do I need security?
Because I know sometimes when you're in the hood, like I see the guys with like.
Yeah. Well, I need security because trust the law, but tie your camel.
Is it? Okay.
Trust the law, but tie your camel. Do you lock your door at night? I tell every time somebody asks me, I say, do you lock your door at night?
I say if you can afford it, I'm at the point where I'm.
With the way your video's going viral and the things you saying, I'm about to give you my security. You need it more than me right now, man. You crazy?
This is real easy.
You literally need it more than me right now.
I moved to Texas, bro.
Shit. Do you think Texas is safe?
No, but at least I could carry the shit and stand your ground.
There you go.
Carry the shit, stand your ground. Now, thank God.
Oh, that's another thing too.
Thank God I'm Albanian.
Let me say something else. Because I got a lot of cousins. Because of my criminal past, I'm not allowed to legally carry a gun. So for me, I just told you, Tone Trump is a business. It's a corporation. Those kids in that other room go to a certain school because of the business of Tone Trump. Protected by any and all means.
Is it still though? Like, is it like beef from the old days? Like,
is every
shit still out there?
Is
like,
everything?
I mean, not to get into any of that shit.
Just
trying to understand why. Is it that? Is
everything? Is this Palestinian head on this table? It's the color of my skin. It's the chains on my neck. It's the love I have for my children. My security ain't just protecting me. If somebody came in here right now and was on some bullshit,
we done.
So they gonna protect everybody. So when you see me in my, like, even the time, like, people, I got a lot of controversy about the videos in the neighborhood when my security got the real big guns. But I tell people, Tone Trump events, Tone Trump shows, there hasn't been one fight, one robbery, one murder, one assault. And that's a big deal when you think about where I'm from. I'm from one of the biggest cities in America, one of the most violent cities in America. And when you see me, like, I got a video up. Did you see the video when they got the police helicopters and everything in the sky, cops everywhere? Guess what? The cops went home safe. No one was arrested. All those children left with smiles on their face. And my security, shout to them, they out in the other room right now, they played a big part in that. I can't protect everybody by myself. But guess what? I tell my security this all the time. I'm their security too. You think if somebody sucker punch my security, I'm not going to run in the car like I'm New Kids on the Block or some shit like that. I'm going to be out there fighting, getting bloody with them. So I trust the law, but I tie my camel. I got armed security for the same reasons I got ring cam on my house. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to protect the things I love, the things I honor, and the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with. So yes, and before I had armed security, I carried around guns. I caught 3 gun cases. I spent more than $250,000. Shout out to CeeLo Green. That's one of the things people don't know. CeeLo Green helped me with this too. I fighting for my life and my freedom because I was being young and dumb and wanting to be tough. I don't need security. Yes, I do need security because now we got all them guns with us, but they're legal. The police pull us over. My security crack jokes with them. I don't even say a word. Unlike these other rappers, when the police pull us over, I sit in the back and I go through my Instagram. I don't say, "How you doing, sir?" I don't even answer them. You have the right to remain silent.
Yeah, and you would think with all the cases everyone caught a case because of a gun.
Did you
and
go?
You were A-list rapper. Why the fuck you carrying a gun?
Did you go?
How is that smart with all the money you got?
You know why? Because they worried about their pride and they worried about people like with me. We went to Freeway. Freeway had a festival not so long ago called Free Fest. Beautiful event, peaceful, loving. A bunch of the whole city was there. And when I walked up, I got my armed security with me, and right away the venue security, they all coming after me. And one of the guys who was the head of the security for the venue, he's a very respected guy in my city. He pulled me to the side like, "Tone, the gun." And I told him, I said, if the gun gotta go, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. Like, y'all know I'm not here on no bullshit. Like, so now what wound up happening is it was at the Navy Yard, so it was a bunch of federal shit to it. So okay, we put the big gun up, but we tie our camel. Just say that. You know what I'm saying? We tie our camel.
And what people don't know, that's an expression that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used because they said, well, if everything's God's will,
right,
then if I leave my camel untied, my camel won't run away unless God wants it to. It's like, no, tie your camel and trust in God. Right? Tie your camel and trust in God. That's what that expression means.
And people have said that to me. People say, oh, this guy is saying he trusts the law, but he goes everywhere with armed security. It's also
you have a right to defend your life in every faith.
Right.
It's an inalienable right.
Right.
That I think is being infringed upon.
And the thing about it is, the Prophet also said, peace be and blessings be upon him, says, don't concern yourself with matters that don't concern you. My security ain't none of nobody's business. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love my security, and I love the security it gives me because, like I said, when I'm walking down the street just now, when we was walking up here to walk into the studio, it was a young lady who clearly was suffering from some type of mental health issues, and she walking down the street screaming all out.
Emotionally disturbed.
And guess what? If it's just me and my kids, now I got to get in the way. But guess what happened? Security grabbed my sons, said, stand over here.
Fam, you know what? Let's make it real simple. When the white guys in suits have 30 guys around them, nobody worry about it. The minute a rapper or an artist got it, why is he needed? Well, why does George Bush need it? Or this guy or that guy? Why? But if a rapper has armed security, it's a problem. No, I would say thank God he could afford it.
I need this clip ASAP because they give me a lot of hassle about that. Shout out to my security.
Why Diddy wasn't walking around with armed guards? His guards, I've seen it. I had an event that we had promoted. It wasn't for him. It was like a Thanksgiving party back in 2003. He rolled up with an army.
Right. As he should. As he should, and it just protects.
I would myself hire around the clock.
You need to. I said the reminder benefits the believer. If you don't take nothing else from Tone Trump on this video, because I'm a fan of what you're doing, I love what you're doing. One of the reasons you're here right now, the owner of the studio has a bunch of stuff going on. You know why he allowed this today? Because he gives me this. This is my studio, but today wasn't really a good day for him. He wanted this conversation because we watch you and we love you. I'm telling you.
And let's give him a shout out on this. I just didn't want to do on the live. Yeah. Tell them where we at right now.
Yeah, right now we are.
It's up to you. I mean, do you want people to know?
Oh, yeah. They already know. But they know. There's only one studio I go to in New York, the biggest, best studio in New York City. The biggest studio, the best studio. This is Podcast Central we at right now, but the umbrella it's
great
under
location.
It's IMI Studios, legendary studio. I mean, everybody you could think of is recorded here, but this is my home. I'm the top. This is my home,
and this is now the podcast division.
And now this is the podcast.
And
division.
I was in Spotify last week, headquarters, 10 floors.
You got to get me
up
up
there. The studio's nicer.
Oh, it's nicer than every studio.
No, I'm telling you, it's go over there. They're comfortable, lighting.
Yep.
The staff is dope. The owner's awesome.
Yep.
You got little pockets to chill. You got the recording studio across the street if you want to make music. I'm telling you, as a podcaster that's world renowned for that.
Yep.
Great facility.
Let me finish what I was saying. The one thing I want to say is, if you don't take nothing else, and to the people that's with him, I want y'all, when y'all get in the car, to reiterate this. Your brother is telling you this. You need armed security. You are targeted. You are a target. And guess what else armed security is good for? It's an alibi. You know what I mean? Like if I leave this room right now, you see how they just did that sucker Diddy? And I don't respect Diddy at all. But one thing I will say is if Diddy had the right security, because Diddy had a strong security team at one time. I know this for a fact. When Diddy had the Nation with him, the Nation of Islam I'm speaking of, the Fruits, he wasn't hearing none of the crazy stuff because they're not going to be around that. They're not going to allow that. My security not going to allow me to be a dickhead. There's times where I still got flashbacks. We just did a venue the other day. And let me speak on this. I had got into an argument with the state senator, and it went viral. And if my security wasn't there, I would have definitely went further. So him pulling me away from that argument, me and that senator, his name is Senator Sharif Street. Mashallah, he's a Muslim too. He's about to run for Congress, and he has my full support. We had an argument, but 2 days later, we also came together on camera to make peace.
Disagreement.
We had a disagreement.
A heated disagreement.
Right.
Passionate.
Right. And one thing I will say is, shout to my security, shout to Cole, who's the head of my security, NSP, MDF security. One thing I was grateful about is when I watched the video, because I was upset that people even filmed it, because I didn't film it. But the person who filmed it, what you clearly see on the video, is my security taking me away from the argument. My homies ain't gonna do that. My ox, they would have just been with me jumping on whatever. We'd have been in trouble. That would have been a federal offense. I would have been in the feds. Because he's a senator. So my security, because in that moment he's saying what he's saying and I'm getting upset. But my security and his security, who I'm sure is Philadelphia police, so right there, they could have killed me. You know what I'm saying? My security took me away, and we lived to see another day to battle, to fight, and to be able to be here, to have this hat and to build with you and meet these people and have this beautiful candle here and be in the biggest and best studio in the world. But when you say that, I say that to say to you, brother, if you don't listen to nothing else I'm saying, get you some security. You don't got to get the big guy, because sometimes the best guy, you can get a guy that looks just like your guy over there where he's real calm and cool, but you need that, bro. And I tell all my guys
Let's just say
that.
I'm not as exposed as you think I am.
Bro, you got 10 million views last week.
No,
Let's
I'm
just
talking
say.
about like.
Okay, say no more. Say no more. I already know.
On a whole nother level that I can't even say.
No, I already know.
Publicly.
Listen, what's understood don't need to be explained. I copy.
I'm not. Listen, I come from a people of war.
You know I know your people.
Albanians. We've been through hell and back.
An Albanian just called my phone.
We got a lot of Albanians.
The Albanian
in Philly.
who introduced us. Yeah,
We got a lot of Albanians in the BX. We've been in the hoods. We're like the only. We're like,
y'all probably
know
like out of all the Muslim nations.
And everyone's saying that we get a pass. I don't use the word anyway like that, but they all say we get the pass. Is that true? How do you guys look at us?
I don't give nobody a pass because I feel like
that word shouldn't be used anyway.
Yeah, my thing is this. Like, I don't play no disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if somebody got to say to me like, is it okay or do I need a pass? For me, it's like that don't mean I want to kill everybody that say it. But
I think it's the intention how you say it.
It ain't even that, because some people try to use that. My thing is, I got friends, right? I got white friends. They wouldn't dare say that shit around me. Not because they scared of me, because they honor and respect me. That's like if you told me a certain word was offensive in the Albanian culture. I don't give a fuck if somebody was like, well, it's slang.
We're friends.
Yeah, because we're friends.
In a way, you're belittling your friend.
Right, I would never say it. So
agree.
my thing is, if you say it around me, you're going to get your head cracked open. And I promise you that. Well, let me take that back, because that's threatening. Just don't say it around me. How about that? that's my thing. So no, I don't allow that, because I think about my ancestors. I think about Marcus Garvey. I think about Malcolm X. I think about Nelson Mandela.
Malcolm X almost every day.
Bro. I think about him every single day. So my thing is,
shout out to my brother Ibrahim, man. He passed away, man. He took me to pray in that mosque.
Alhamdulillah.
He was also on the wrong side of life, and he was a big dude in Harlem. God rest his soul, and Islam changed his life, man. And Allah took him back, man. He had some kind of sickness. I thought he got past it, and all of a sudden, just here he's in the hospital. He died, and I was like, man. And he always said, like, if I die, I still pray for him every time I make a dua.
May Allah make his grave spacious. May Allah forgive him for his sins, and may Allah accept him in Jannah.
It's a man who changed.
And may Allah
life.
Reunite y'all in Jannah, inshallah.
It says, whoever you love for the sake of God, you'll be under the shade. Listen to me. I'm scared of the life in the grave, right? Then you got to worry about Judgment Day. People think it's a joke, bro.
It's too heavy. It's too heavy to be on camera talking about.
This day's coming, though, but it's coming. I promise you. No,
I
I know you know.
I know it's coming.
But there's a lot of people, they can't picture, is this real?
Yo, that's why, I'm glad you said that. That's why I don't take offense to nothing in the comments. People be like, yo, you don't get upset? Yeah, I'm human. Of course, sometimes you want to smack somebody.
I'm just used to it.
But not only that, but you got to think about this, bro. You know, people, like I told this on another podcast. He said, They say only God can judge. I say no, everybody can judge, but only God judgments matter.
And he's the best judge.
And he's the best judge.
The fairest.
Right.
He knows exactly what you're worth.
So no matter what you think
and
about
what
my
you
music or my tattoos or my lifestyle, I have to go before a law. And bro, I tell you right now, as a Muslim, I take my glasses off and say this, man. That scares me. I pray every day that the law doesn't take me until he's pleased with me. No matter what people, that's like,
may my best deeds be my last.
I mean, I don't care what, like, it's just, that's why I love Islam. No matter how much they praise me, because it's people that think I'm the greatest Muslim ever to live. And then it's people that think I'm a fake Muslim and I'm a hypocrite and I ain't shit. Guess what? It don't even matter. Because in that day come and I got to go before my Lord, I'm chasing down good deeds. I got rebuttals built in that I got to tell Allah. Like, I know I did that, but I also did that. Like, I'm working so hard to go before my Lord and be honorable. And that means more to me. It's just like the same thing. I've always wanted to make my mom proud more than I wanted to make any nigga proud. I don't care what no old gangster or no young gangster or anybody think about me and what I got going on. When my mother texts my phone and she screenshots something that one of her friends seen or saw me in the news and all that, and my mother say, I'm so proud of my son, that's bigger than a fucking Grammy that's on Trump. That's bigger than anything. You met me, I was around celebrities. They say nice things to me. That doesn't compare to when my mother texts or calls me and say, baby, I'm so proud to be your mother. Nothing tops that. And I feel like, inshallah, if that can be my ticket to Jannah, because the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, talks about the importance of honoring your mother. And I've done a lot of wrong. But in all my years, I told you I was 100 years old. In my 100 years on this dunya, wallahi, I swear by Allah, I have never, ever disrespected my mother. Never. I've disrespected everybody fucking else. Politicians, gangsters, rappers, all of that shit. May Allah forgive me. I'm not bragging about it, but I've went to war with the biggest and the best. I've had beef with the most respected niggas you could think of and woke up to talk about it. Mashallah. But that mother of mine, Anissa, Denise Bryce, she will tell you, I could call her right now, I have never, ever talk back to her, never in my life. My siblings, they'll like go back and forth with my mom, not disrespectful, but my
it
little,
happens.
yeah, my
You
little
know,
sister, my little sister and my mom fall out and all that. My mom would tell you, because they say to her all the time, you think your son perfect? My mom say, I know he not perfect, but that boy ain't never disrespecting me. They said the person, you know, honor your mother and then who? Honor your mother and then who? Honor your mother
and
then your father.
And you know what else? It's like that one story where there was one of the people of the early community of Muslims. He was about to pass away, and he couldn't say the Shahada. He couldn't say La ilaha illallah, right? As you're dying, they try to make you say it, right? Because if you say it's a good sign of where you're going.
Right.
And if you can't say it...
Hold on real quick. Hey, Umi, I'm doing a podcast right now. You know I'm so real.
Hold that to the mic, yo. Hold that to the mic.
I had to get my mom on the phone because I just talked about you. You know I love you, right, baby?
Can I say hi?
That's right.
Say hi to Bek. He is
Salam.
This a famous podcast.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm not even going to tell you what we talked about, but when somebody say anything about your son, what's the first, like my little sister say, you think your son perfect, what's the first thing you say?
That's my world.
And you say he has never what?
He has never disrespected me.
Ever. Have I ever talked back to you in my life?
Never talked back to me, not one time.
All right, I love you. I'm going to call you when I get done.
All right, baby, I love you too.
All right, mommy. Like, I'm just too real. Show's over. That's on me. You know what I'm saying?
So what happened in that? And
you see how young my mom look?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ain't your age. You think I just look old. I've been through a lot. I'm a lot younger than you.
So the man's about to die. He's trying to say, they're like, say the Shahada, right? Which is what you're supposed to try to say as you're dying, that there's only one God and Muhammad is...
That the law is so merciful that you could say it without moving your lips. But go on, I want to put
so
that in
he couldn't do it. So
Mashallah.
they go summon the Prophet, peace be upon him, and he comes. And he's like, he's not able to say the words. He's like, where's this man's mother? So they find the mother. They bring him. They bring the mom. She's like, she hasn't spoken to me in years. So they're like, will you forgive him? She goes, nah, I will not forgive him. Because imagine, you break a mother's heart. No matter how bad a mom, you don't talk to them, right? It shatters the heart, right? So the Prophet, peace be upon him, commands them to build a fire, to throw him into the fire while he's still alive, because his mom won't forgive him. When the mother sees that they're about to burn him alive,
SubhanAllah.
she goes, I forgive him, I forgive him, I forgive him. Because I guess something kicked in, right? Then he was able to say Shahada. So he was able to say what you're supposed to say before you die. Meaning that until the mother forgave him, he was finished.
I never heard that one.
No, that's in the tradition. So he was finished. And I understand people have parents that maybe wronged them. And I understand that there's some exceptions maybe where things have happened like that are not normal, right? Let's be real. Especially when we're talking about outside the faith.
Right, absolutely.
They got touched and this and that. That's a whole different ballgame. But I'm talking about in general, you're mad because maybe they weren't the best parent. Maybe their intentions, how do you know what's in their heart? There's been times where I've messed up as a parent. And I'm like, man.
Me too.
There's no handbook, man.
Me too.
And you think you are, I always thought I'm going to be the best father in the world. And then life, right? I got to work. I got to this. I got to that. I missed a game. I missed this. I missed that. And you're sitting here going like you think you're the worst. And meanwhile, maybe your kid even gets angry at you and they don't realize that you up at night worrying how to keep them good and your heart's aching and you're sad you're missing all these moments. And then they give you an attitude. You're like, yo, I'm trying to figure out how to get you where you were better than me.
And you don't realize how hard your parents' jobs is until you get old. Like for me, like I tell people all the time, I didn't even realize how hard we had it because my mother did such an amazing job of shielding us. Like my mother was like, I can't even break down to you, bro. Like when I look back now, I literally be like, how did this lady do this? Like she just the greatest ever to me. Like
she would walk into a fire right now if it meant your life. That's a fact.
My mother still talk.
My fire. If they said your son's gonna die or walk into, I promise you, 9.9 out of 10 mothers is gonna walk into that fucking fire.
And everything I've been through in my life, from like legal troubles, like my family, that's one of the things like I'm proud about not being in the streets no more because I'm not like these like fake rappers. Like I got real stories. Like when the police came for me, they put guns in my children's faces. Like I never forget, man. We in the car and they was doing this bogus investigation on us. And my son that's in the other room right now, he said, Dad, is they following us? And I looked back and I said, no, they not following us. And then like, bro, it was like a movie, like boom, like out of nowhere. I'm talking about every angle, police, every angle, guns to my kids, guns to my wife. And I'm looking like, you coward ass nigga. And thinking about my mother, like, cause like I said, growing up in the crack era, like the things my mother shielded us, my mother turned down public housing. At the time when I was growing up, public housing, for those that don't know, when you see people on the projects, people get on a list for that. And the benefit in that is you basically don't have no rent. So my mother had me at 17 years old. When they finally got her voucher saying, okay, now it's up, you can live here, she thought about me being raised in the projects and turned down that free housing. And don't get me wrong, we was still only like 2-3 blocks from the projects, but she didn't want to raise her black son without no father, without no big brother in that jungle. She took me to another jungle, but look at her intentions where she said, I'd rather struggle, work 2-3 jobs to pay rent than my baby having to grow up around that. You know what I mean? And we so dumb as kids, I wound up still hanging down there anyway, but I ain't lived there. And as a young kid, I'll never forget, this is something I always want to talk about. I never talked about this before. I remember on report card day, me and my friends, we would all have bad report cards, and I would be so scared walking home. And none of my friends were scared. And I'm just like, yo, your mom ain't gonna be tripping. And they like, no, my mom don't even care. My mom she don't even ask about my report card. And that's because all their moms was on crack. And my mother never doing drugs is one of the best things that ever happened, because when I look at all my friends, even like the conversations I'm able to have, the rooms I'm in, nobody from my neighborhood and my age group can have those conversations. I've sat down with, like, in the Islamic world, I've sat down with you name it. You know what I mean? Like Imam Omar Suleiman, flying around with him, me sitting down with Jay-Z, all these different things. Those conversations, most of my friends respectfully can't handle those conversations because they had mothers who were addicted to crack. So their experiences were limited. I thought my mom was punishing me, making me go to Catholic school. No, I was learning discipline. I was learning how to read out loud. You'd be surprised how many people you interview that can't read out loud confidently. You'd be surprised, bro. You know what I learned that at? In jail. Like, you be in jail and you be niggas who thorough, get money and all that. And they literally, yo, bro, can you read this for me? Like, read it for you? No, nigga, you read it. Nigga be like, yo, I can't read, bro. Like, the men, like real men, like the real, you know what I'm saying? So I attribute all of that to that woman I just called. My mother, the realest. My mother, I know all that old head that was in here, that was his friend, he was naming like old Philly gangsters. Like, I respect all them dudes, but ain't none of them niggas a bigger gangster than my mother. My mother is that. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, mashallah. But And I say that to say the importance of parenting. Like, my kids are with me now. My kids ain't with me because I don't got nobody to watch them. My kids with me because I want them to see my life and see what I do. When I leave here and I got to go shoot a commercial in Queens and my babies get there, because my kids don't understand, what daddy do for a living. You think I want to be like, I'm a rapper. That's some bullshit. I'm a business. You know what I'm saying? I'm a brand. So my baby seeing it front row. So when they go back to school and people, your dad a rapper? No, my dad is a business. We was in New York with my dad. We did this. When I was my kid's age, I never went to New York. I thought New York was just some shit you saw on TV. Now I own properties out here. You know what I'm saying? Mashallah. And that's not being vain. That's being real. And and the prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says, speak the language of the people. Every interview I do, I'm intentional. I'm talking to my people. I don't give a fuck what Young Thug fans think about me. I don't care what 50 Cent fans think about me. But the people who love me, pray for me, buy my merch, come to my shows, this beautiful candle I got lit from Golden Dream Essentials right here. When they support my businesses and my brands, I'm speaking to them. And they've been watching me grow up on camera for the last 20 years. I've been on camera. I've been on YouTube, World Star, literally for the last 20 years. So just imagine, it's people who watch my kids grow up. It's fans who I never met Aleem is getting so big. And I'll be reading the DM like, how you know? And they're like, man, I've been watching you since his mom was pregnant. He 11 now. You know what I'm saying? So my story is my story. And one thing I did learn from one of them fake rap niggas, I was on tour one time and I was on a tour bus with this nigga who's real famous. And he said, yo, man, don't be embarrassed about nothing. He was like, show it all. And I was like, damn, that's deep because, social media is so fake. Everybody want to look like they perfect. Everybody want to look like they perfect. And it's like, no, sometimes you can show, like, I could show a video of me getting on the train. I'm on the train going to New York one day on Amtrak, and I made a video, and one of the comments was like, oh, you so rich, why you on the train? I was on a train with a bunch of other rich people, but that person don't even know how life worked. The train was filled with millionaires, you know what I'm saying? But that's how life worked. And for me, these experiences, my mother sending me to them private schools, because when I first started rapping in Philly, when people used to diss me, that's one of the first things they say. They say, oh, he went to private school. I did go to private school, and that's the reason why I can have an elite conversation like we having right now. I know it's not 10 rappers that can come sit down here with you and talk like this and speak in multiple languages and go from that to this and talk the streets and really was in the streets, not like play. I'm talking about really in the streets, like when the streets was the streets, not now when everybody tattling and you got all these dangerous rats. This shit now is a circus. I'm talking about back in the day. I'm talking about when JBM had Philly on lock, when it was get down and lay down. You know what that mean? Get down and lay down. That meant get down with us or die. Those was my elders. So being around the men, you know what I'm saying? And all of them now are praying and striving Muslims. But those guys who ran and controlled my city at that time, I looked up to them guys. And those same guys now see what I'm doing, and they kids look up to me. So when I get in front of this camera, I ain't talking about no rap shit. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about Islam. I'm talking about adab. For those that don't know, that's character and mannerisms and how you carry yourself. Me being intentional. This hat is here on purpose. You told me you got 10 million views last week. Let's get 20 million with them seeing this hat. This candle right here, this is my Queen's company. I'm going to sell 5,000 candles if I get 10 million views. Really? This is all intentional, inshallah. You know, my skin.
And where can they find these candles, brother?
GoldenDreamEssentials.com. And this body butter right here, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these people you be interviewing, their skin, I don't like it.
Yeah, but I need some of that shit.
I'm going to get, matter of fact.
My skin is dry and chalky as a motherfucker.
This yours right here. We're going to get you some right here.
Tone, we're all over the place because there's so much to talk about. We probably have to do a part 2 to this.
We probably got to do like a whole little series. I feel like we should do a series where we basically go back and forth, because one thing I want to do is I want to bring you to Philadelphia. I like to call it Philistan. People don't know that Stan. When you hear Pakistan and Afghanistan, the Stan is for land of. So Philistan is the land of Philly, and it's also our way of honoring Gaza. So I got to bring you to Philistan and let you see the real Philadelphia, real Philadelphia.
Like
inshallah, you know, you got to have a pass to come to Philly, but you got to pass.
Respect.
You like an honorary Philadelphia.
And I was never into the sports shit with the Yankees and the Phillies back on. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. We gonna bring you to Philly because I feel like, you know, right now, like, you one of the voices of our people. I don't even think you realize how big your voice is, bro. So I would be honored to bring you to the biddy.
Tone.
Yes, sir.
It seems like a lot has happened in the music world over the last 40, 50 years.
Yes.
I will never say I'm an expert in the music game and how, you know, have I been around it? Have I met some of my favorite people?
Right.
And I got to meet one of them with you. Like, for me, meeting Philly Freeway.
Wow.
Freeway Philly?
Yeah.
Which way is the right way to say it?
His stage name is Freeway, but they call him Philly Freeway, so it's just Freeway. And you know what's crazy? Let me give you a little history. I don't know if you saw that guy I was talking to in the other room, the short black guy. That's Freeway Ricky Ross. That's the original Freeway. That's where Rick Ross, the rapper, got his name from, and that's where Freeway from Philly got his name from.
That's the actual guy.
That was actually Freeway Rick. I told you, when you come to the studio, you don't know who gonna walk in, but that's actually Freeway Ricky Ross, where both rappers got their name from. So shout out.
I know he was like one of the OGs.
Yeah, allegedly. You know, I don't know nothing about drugs, but allegedly, from what they say, he was, one of the biggest drugs. Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know anything because I'm just a poet. I don't know anything. I'm not in a gang. I don't know nothing about gangs or drugs or anything like that. I just want the record to reflect that.
So, my height of nightlife was the early 2000s. Hip hop dominated.
Like, what was you listening to then? Just so I know.
Just
so I can see what vibe you was on.
I mean, first of all, it was open.
Well, you said you like Freeway, so I'm sure Rockefeller was definitely a big part of it. So Jay-Z,
open format, right? It was open format, and the clubs was. They're going from one genre to the next, but it was always very heavy hip hop, right?
Always, still is.
So I could tell you, I have plenty of witnesses in my life. When Philly song would come on, even though when we do, we call it the Philadelphia. That's the Philadelphia national anthem. Yes, I don't know what they talk about. This New York and Philly don't got love. When that song came on, the entire club, I would want to break every fucking table within. Like I would go crazy with that song because the energy with that song was, even to this day when I hear it. You know something. Let me say this. And I want to thank you in front of the record for introducing me to that brother.
It's a good brother.
And hearing him say to me, bro, like I had my mind explode because I'm meeting Freeway and I'm meeting CeeLo Green at the same time.
Right.
Even though I met him once, but he would never remember. I explained the story that day.
Right.
I had met him for 1 second at the Super Bowl in Dallas.
Wow.
Which was a disaster. It was an ice storm. And all the parties
during the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
wow, that's
it
crazy.
was the worst Super Bowl in history. They had the new stadium.
That's what they get for doing it in
and
Dallas.
There was a half
garbage
inch,
Cowboys.
Just a half an inch of snow, but they don't have the infrastructure. It was like the zombie apocalypse on the highways of Dallas. There was cars crashed everywhere.
Wow.
So all the A-listers are in town, right? So he's performing at the Maxim party. And I'm in there. There's only like 50 people. It should have been packed, but no one could get in.
Because of traffic.
So I'm sitting here, and this is like when his song, like that one song just took over, right? And fuck you. Like when that song was right?
They called it the song of the decade. Shout out to my brother CeeLo.
Anthem. And I'm like, no, like I'm getting to watch him sing this live right now. I felt like honored, right? But the only thing that surpassed that was calling Tone Trump, being called by Tone Trump, come hang out. I don't even know if CeeLo's coming. And getting not only to chill, be there, and observe. And that night he took me out.
Right.
Rolled the footage.
Right,
the clip.
right.
And, bro, thank you for that, man. Just meeting Freeway was an honor, let alone CeeLo Green.
Right.
How did you even meet these guys, bro?
Well, Freeway is from our neighborhood, so mashallah, Freeway has always been like an influence and a big brother. And CeeLo Green, man, Allah is just merciful. I was at Viacom many years ago. I want to say 2000, maybe 10, 2009. I was at Viacom. For those that don't know, Viacom owns MTV, BET, VH1, a bunch of other stuff. And I was at Viacom for a meeting to get my video aired. At the time, it was a video called Wifey. I never forget this day because when I was in the meeting, it didn't really go in my favor. I was really feeling like upset. I was mad. Like some of the things they basically, the guy at the time, his name was Tuma, and he now is one of the big bosses at YouTube. Shout out to Tuma Basa. And he gave me some constructive criticism, but being young and at the time, I'll be honest, I was arrogant, feeling myself. I was kind of upset. I leave. He was in charge of MTV Jams at the time. I get on the elevator. I go back downstairs to the Viacom building, and I was with Eric Bell, who had shot the video Wifey for me. Shout out to E Bell, that's my brother. Still to this day, we in the lobby. I'm like mad. And he's like, yo, they go CeeLo Green, and I look over and I'm like, so I'm mad. I don't give a fuck. He's like, man, I want to say. I said, man, don't you dare go over there and say, in Philly we got something called Don't Be Joe. Joe is like acting like Joe Familiar, like that's like if somebody, like if my security right there with Cole was to be like, yo, that's Bek, Bek, good, and I'm looking like, yo, you all Joe mean like you doing too much. So I told him, like,
being
yo,
a fan, like
you're being fan. Too fanned out, right?
Like you're not on the same level.
There you go. So I'm telling him chill, and then when I looked over, like life changing moment, I looked over, it was CeeLo and Big Gip from Goody Mob, if you know who Big Gip is. And when I looked over, CeeLo got this big ass full length fur coat on, and when I looked over, we was too far to hear each other, but I read his lips. And I saw he said, there go Tone Trump. I'm kind of new at the time. it's like not knowing your reach. At the time, I'm like the star or world star. And at that time, that's like being on TV because everybody was going to World Star. I'm getting millions of views. So
they're still huge.
There you go. And a lot of people don't realize it, but a lot of the big A-listers, they can't go out and really do a lot. So they all what? On their phones, computers. So being like the star or world star, one thing I realized as I moved around in my travels, every star I would meet, I would like go to introduce myself. And these are the people I looked up to and listened to. And I'd be like, yo, what's up? I'm Tone Trump. They're like, man, I know you. Why you crazy? I watch you all the time. And when I went up the load, he knew more about Tone Trump than I knew about CeeLo Green, to be honest. Like, you know, I'm younger, so I didn't really grow up with Goody Mob. I knew CeeLo's success. Like, I knew CeeLo from, like, the big TV show and the big records.
He's at the highest level.
Yeah, right. So I'd be lying if I act like I was this kid who looked up I didn't listen to no music outside of really Philadelphia, like, until I, like, started to really understand music. But long story short, that day we like exchanged numbers. I want to say like we stayed in contact. We have so much in common that people wouldn't know. Most of it I wouldn't even say on camera because it's just so real. But people always seem so surprised about our relationship. But bro, like this, like, and I don't want to get him in trouble because he's got a lot of endorsement. But bro is a real one. Like he is solid, and I've met everybody.
I saw him give you that chain.
You saw him give me that very expensive, very nice, diamond chain. And this ain't the first diamond chain. He got me that. Well, not this one. Remember, I had the 2 Rolexes on. The yellow gold, that was a gift from CeeLo too. So, it's good to have, very rich giving friends. So shout out to CeeLo. But yeah, but let me tell you something about networking. In that conversation, I never mentioned, let's do music together. I never said, can I send you my music? I never asked him for anything, just being a brother. And we grew a brotherhood. That's
mistake a lot of people make.
Yeah, that's it. I always tell people networking is an art. It's an art to networking. Mm-hmm. So for me, literally, me and CeeLo were brothers for years before our first song. The way we did our first song, he did a record called Mama with Rick Ross. And you see how much I love my mama. I'm a mama's boy. When I heard the record, I thought about my mom. And I DM'd CeeLo on one of the social sites at the time. I want to say maybe Twitter. And whoever ran his page at the time was like, hey, I showed Lo your message. He wants you to call him. So I call him. We talking and shit. And he like, yeah, you like the record? I was like, I love that record. And he said, yo, when we gonna do one? I'm like, nigga, tonight. What you mean? I'll fly to Atlanta now. Walk's willing. So I think I sent him some beats and I sent him some records. And he's such a gangster. He hit me back. He was like, man, I ain't really feeling that. He's like, I got this idea though. He said, I'm gonna make this beat, and if you like it, fuck with it. And I'm already in my head like,
I don't care what it is.
What it is. He could have made me. He could have been like, I would have made a song to it. You know what I'm saying? So he sends me this song. Our first record was called 5, and he was on the hook. I did the song probably. He sent it to me like 2 p.m. Let's just say I probably had that shit sent back to him like 9 p.m. I went right to the studio. IMI knocked it out, and the rest is history. After we did the record had like went viral.
How long ago this friendship really blossomed?
That record would be, somebody Google when Rick Ross, CeeLo Mama came out.
Early 2000s. I mean, it's just.
Oh, it was the 2000s. It wasn't early 2000s. This was like, let's say maybe 2016 when we did the first record. I've known him since like 2010, but maybe 2016, 2017.
That's when you guys really start getting closer.
Yeah, we became like, and when I say close, like,
I mean, I can pause. I've been around.
That's my brother.
That's
my brother. Like, let me tell you something.
I see the way you guys all are.
No, I mean, I'm talking about like opened this house to me, like not just to me, but to my family, my friends. Like when we in his area, we don't stay in no hotels. He got a big estate, and at a time when I really needed it, like CeeLo and Ahmed, the one who owned this studio, were really there for me at a time I really needed it because I was going through some real shit in the streets. I was recovering from getting shot. And
you've been shot, huh?
Yeah, 3 times. And Lo opened his doors to me. In that perspective, I got really closer to Allah because I was just away from all the noise. And he was there for me when I court my case. He basically gave me a blank check and I was like just telling him what was going on. And I wasn't broke at the time, but you always need help legally when you fighting a case.
It's crazy how much money.
Shout out to my lawyer Michael Diamonstein. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I got cases that I never even went to court with that I spent $80,000 on because just before you even get to court, just sitting with the people don't understand how expensive it is just to sit with a lawyer. Just for a lawyer to look at you like a real powerful attorney, like these attorneys you see these rappers having. Just for them to get your discovery and meet with your family and stuff like that, some of them it might be $10,000. You didn't even get your court date yet. People don't realize that. To retain like at the level I'm at, like I can't go in there with what they call as a PD, a public defender. That's like
You're finished.
You're done,
You're
right?
done. You're going to jail.
Right, and
Done.
I'm very grateful to CeeLo Green. I'm very grateful to my attorneys, and I'm also always all praise be to Allah. But CeeLo is my brother, man. I don't even like talking about him in the same breath with anybody else that does music, because I'm not friends with no rappers. CeeLo Green is my brother. That's my family. Like my family. Like last time, he was in Philly for the Roots picnic, and then after the show, we had took him out to dinner for his birthday, and I'm just proud. I'm in a position where I could also do stuff for him, because he's somebody that something as simple as just paying for a dinner for him, his queen, his management, his security. I took them all out to my restaurant, Cilantro's on 5th and South, the best halal Egyptian food in the world. You know, I got to plug my stuff. But
am I going to get to experience that food?
I'm trying to bring you to the Betty. When you come to Philly, you're going to experience the whole night. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want
Live.
I want to do a 24-hour with Bek and Tone Trump in Philly. I'm going to take you from the trenches. I'm going to literally take you to what is the most open air opioid section in America, like where you're going to literally be next to people that are on fentanyl, and you're going to be 100% good. Now, then you're not going to ask me, Cole, when he was in the other room, he asked me about my armed security. When you come to the Biddy, I guarantee you will never ask me that again. You're going to be like, oh, I see why you got armed security. Makes all the sense in the world. So I'm going to bring you, and but the beauty of it is I'm going to take you from that, and then we're going to go on the 76th floor and look at City Hall, and we're going to eat the best food in the world. Like, it's a lifestyle. So I literally go, like, I'll go from feeding the homeless, and then the next day
I just got back from
meeting with the mayor.
Hastings Street in Vancouver. It's pretty bad.
What street?
Hastings in Vancouver.
Bro, Hastings, let me talk.
Oh, you're telling me this?
No.
I've been to Skid Row.
No.
You telling me this?
No. You just disrespecting me. I've been to Hastings streets in Vancouver. I've been going to Vancouver
So
since
compare it to
2019.
what you're taking me to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
Let me
it's worse.
compare it.
Tell me how much worse.
Let me compare it. You would rather eat off the ground in Hastings Street than spend an hour without me to where I'm going to take you at. Hastings Street is the suburbs compared to where I'm talking about. And the only person
It's like a resort.
Bro, it's a resort. Like, I've been to Hastings Streets. The Jamaican restaurant, that's Van City. I'm the king. I ain't going to say I'm the king of Vancouver. I love Vancouver.
Fire, bro.
Vancouver is amazing. But Hastings Street is a fucking playground compared to Kensington and Allegheny.
Skid Row?
Skid Row is a bunch of homeless people. That's very dirty and stinky. But I'm talking about K&A.
Straight drugs,
I'm
like
talking
straight-
about the, like, listen, bro, just Google it. And I'm gonna take you there. And when you come there, and you're gonna get nothing but love. And not because I'm the biggest gangster. You know why you're gonna get love? Because when they see Tone Trump, the first thing they think is he's down here to feed us. He brings us new socks. He brings us. I don't rule with an iron fist. You know what I mean? I'm down there FCBLA. I'm down there for the love and sake and the permission of Allah. I'm down there chasing good deeds. I tell them all the time, when I'm handing them food, they say, thank you. You know what I say? No, thank you. No, thank you. One of them meals may be my ticket to Jenna. So for me, when we go down there, you're gonna be good, bro. Like from the hustlers to the shooters to the robbers to everybody, when they see me and they see mine, they know it's love. They know we not down there trying to sell dope or rob nobody. They know, because they think that you get your head knocked off. But I ain't down there for no nut shit. I'm down there because I love my people. I'm in a whole beef with the city councilwoman in that area. And keep in mind, I've never lived there. I've never made $1 there. But I have spent thousands and thousands of my own money and resources to help rebuild that area.
Is there a large Muslim community there?
It's a large Muslim community everywhere in Philly. There is no part of Philly where it's not Muslim. So yes, everywhere in Philly is Muslims. When you come to Philadelphia, this is the thing about Philadelphia, because a lot of times the Philly Muslims, as they call it, we get a bad rap. But in Philadelphia, yes, a lot of the bad guys are Muslims, but also the politicians are Muslims, the athletes are Muslims, the boxing world champion is Muslims, the lawyers are Muslims. You know what I mean? The photographers are Muslims, the security. It's my security right there. He's Muslim. Everybody's Muslim, mashallah, for the most part. And even the ones that aren't Muslims, they got a Muslim cousin or a son.
They got respect
for
the faith.
Yes, it's a Muslim city.
When we think about Brother Malcolm, right, and how far things have come, I do believe, me, myself, after studying as hard as I have in my life to get the knowledge that I have, that after their lives, there was a coordinated attack, in my opinion, on the African-American community. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on my theories, but I believe so. I believe after him
you know
and
you're
after
right. You know
Dr.
you're right.
King,
You know you're right.
they did everything in their power to destroy the family unit of the African Americans.
Yes, they did.
And that's one thing I got to give mad respect to in the Nation of Islam, right? About the family unit, taking care of the family, right? So
I agree.
I think there was an infiltration.
Stop saying you think. You know who's
Listen, I'm not in the industry.
Yeah.
But I
Yes, you
believe
know.
that when hip hop first came out, we go listen to the first records, and where we ended up today, I don't think is by accident. And then you fuel in the drugs, and then people that have no knowledge of what's happened want to sit there and judge the black community and the African American community without any type of knowledge. They're looking at the result of this, and my understanding, coordinated attack on the African American community.
Right.
So what do you want to say to any other people or any other race or any other American that thinks they understand the African Americans' struggle in this country? How did it go down, brother, after those two leaders?
Well, first thing I want to say is, me personally, because I can't speak for the whole culture or the whole race, but me personally, I appreciate
your understanding.
Yes, I appreciate the question, and I'm very, like something you said, Key. You said when they understand our experiences, I'm always offended.
When you read about Black Wall Street, for example.
I'm always offended when somebody that's not from African descent or African who was born and raised in America, as I like to say, because I don't like even saying African American or black. I'm trying to figure out a new word for us, but I don't like when people, like today I had posted something today. It's this African, I'm sorry, she's not even African American. This black sister from the UK had put up a post about she loved being in Philadelphia because there were so many Muslims and everybody was greeting her, and she was saying like in the UK they don't do that. And I got a bunch of comments from Muslims, none of them black, saying, brother, this is not true, and da-da-da-da, and why are y'all bringing up race? And I just feel like that's like, if I hear somebody Jewish talking about the Holocaust, my opinion don't really matter. Like, let them tell their pain, their
We're
story.
talking about like the Haram police saying what you're doing.
Not even
now?
really the Haram police, but it's just a thing where like non-black Muslims, like Arab, our brown brothers and sisters, it's almost like they'll say like, why are you, like for me, when I say I'm a proud, unapologetically black Muslim, they'll be like, well, why you gotta say race? There's no race in Islam. Yeah, there's not no race in Islam until my son try to marry your daughter. And now he's a black Muslim. You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? Hold on, let me get this off. Because you're gonna make me forget. I feel like, mind your business. Like, if you talking about something about Albanians, my opinion don't matter. Yeah, I could tell it to my house, but on camera or in your face, I would never be like, no, bro, you should know. So as a black man, when I'm telling you what I go through in America, it's not no Arab alive that can relate to what I've been through. It's not no Arab alive that can relate to my position in my community, in my household. Mind your fucking business. Don't be in my comments or ever. First of all, nobody would ever say it to my face because whatever. But to tell somebody, if I seen somebody Mexican talking about what they going through, like with ICE, why the fuck would I be like, well, bro, you can't say everybody's like that. We're Muslim. Yeah, I don't know. So I would mind my business. You know what I mean? I would quietly make supplication in some form. So I just want to say that. Something else you said.
I agree with that. I just want to put an exclamation point.
Mashallah. All right.
I think unless you're a black American with deep roots in this country, none of us can know what the fuck it was like for what your people went through. Period. And I don't care where they came from or where they lived.
Who
in
you
America.
grew up. I don't want to hear I grew up with black people and all that shit.
Yeah,
that shit
and
don't
even
matter.
if you're what you call an ally, right? You still don't know.
Bro, even if you married to a black person, you don't know. Even if you have children that are biracial, you still don't know.
As an Albanian, I know there's no way that someone could know what our people went through unless they were there the whole time.
Earlier today, when you was talking about Albanians and you
28
said
people in a war.
Right. But stop right there.
Right.
But you saying that we all can have compassion, right? But we don't feel it. Like if he was Albanian and you said that shit, when you say I lost 28 of my people in the war, that shit feel different. That's just like if I come up here and
I might shed a tear for you, but I might not wail. Right?
There you go.
Right? Because
go.
It's painful.
There you go.
But when it's first level, because that's what we're talking. We're talking first level.
Right. Because we
agree.
humans. We have humanity, but we as humans, we can have compassion. But I could never understand, even though I lost people too. That situation that the Albanians went through, I don't have a right. If I marry an Albanian woman and have children that are half Albanian, I still can't speak on that. But about the music thing, I want to close with this because they literally are cursing me out because I'm late for my shoot. What I'll say is see, I show you I'm late to everything. Now you see
you're not the only one, but
listen to this.
We're gonna work on that.
When you talk about the music and things like that being propagated to destroy the black family.
Do you think, yes or no,
Yes.
simple question,
Yes.
was hip hop weaponized.
Yes, it was, but I don't think it's. Let me talk. It's not just hip hop. I look at it now from the age I'm at now,
actually,
from
all
my
music
experience.
now. Right now, it's
Not
all
just no
music.
fuck music. I feel like sports has been weaponized. I feel like all of this shit, like so many of these institutions have been weaponized to destroy the black family. You know that you got kids. You know, you look at the NFL draft. The NFL draft, the combine resembles the slave trade, where you got these little black boys stripping down to their drawers, and you got these old white men measuring their arms and how fast they run. Like, what is that?
You
How
know what's
fast they
crazy?
run?
I'm not big into sports because my opinion is you never be a player if you're someone else's fan. Meaning, if I'm sitting there watching you live your dream,
That's the opposite of being Joe. So you ain't Joe.
so what I'm trying to say is not from like a jealous. I'm talking about.
No, you running
Can
your
you
own
watch
movie.
a game? Yes. Can I enjoy a concert? Yes. But if that's all you're doing in your life,
Yeah, some
to
people,
me is
some
the
people, some
definition
people
of
make it like religious. Like, yeah, it get too serious.
They
Yeah.
know every stat. They know the bro.
I used to be like that as a kid.
How you gonna chase your own dream?
No, I tell people that.
So
I
always
feel
tell
like that's the
people,
biggest
you can't
distraction.
Be a player in the game of life if you're too busy being a fan or a
Yeah,
spectator.
it's a distraction.
I've never thought of it the way you're saying it right now.
No,
But that
I
shit
mean,
just hit me right now.
no, just think
when
about
you
it.
were like, and they're there. It's like
Go YouTube it.
like the slave trade. Like,
Yeah,
that's
go
cra-
just
Yo,
go
you
just go
blew my mind
just
right
go YouTube it one day. Just go YouTube it one day and
just watch the process.
don't even have a volume on. Just watch it from a mute and watch when a 6'5" kid from Texas come up there and you looking at this kid and look at the people who's evaluating him. It's a bunch of people who couldn't last 30 seconds on a football field with him, and they're sitting there saying, "Oh, look at his limp. He might got something wrong with his leg." Oh,
decide if he's got a
that
future.
boy,
or not.
yeah, where's the boy from? What does his parents do? All this shit, all this evaluating, and they're doing that to project how much money and how much value he's going to bring to that team. Like I tell people, my sons, when we was watching the Eagles won a Super Bowl, and as happy as
you guys
everybody
have been
was,
killing it lately,
yeah, you know what I told my sons?
No cap. You guys have been rocking.
Man, I don't care about that. We talking real stuff. I don't care about the Eagles. I paused the screen and I told my son, I said, "You know who that is?" He said, "No." He knew who Saquon Barkley was. He knew who A.J. Brown. He didn't know who that. I said, "That's Jeffrey Lurie." I said, "That's the owner of the team." And then I Googled how much he paid for the Eagles. Then I Googled how much the Eagles are worth now. So when we see A.J. Brown or even Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, he signed what they call the biggest contract, which every year they announce somebody got the biggest contract. You know why they do that? To make other little black boys chase that pie in the sky. So now all the little black boys in the ghetto are saying, if I could just run fast enough, master, I can get... But nobody is sitting there saying, I want to be Jeffrey Lurie. Not one kid. You can interview 50 kids. I could bring 50 kids here and say, who do you want to be like in the NFL? And he'll say, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Nobody's going to go in there and say, man, I want to be like Jeffrey Lurie. Or I want to be like Howie Roseman, who was the president of the team. Nobody's looking up to them guys. And that's intentional. But you know who is looking up to them? Howie Roseman's kids are. Jeffrey Lurie's kids are. Jeffrey Lurie kid don't want to be Saquon Barkley. I bet you money he don't. His daddy pays Saquon Barkley, so his daddy is
those
teaching.
hits and maybe have brain damage and God knows what else later.
There you go.
Because it is a dangerous sport.
There you go. It's a
Okay.
very dangerous sport.
Do you think in the music world, somehow, some way, it's gonna take the power back?
No. I think the music world is one of the most evil and sick industries in the world.
Gatekeeped, right?
I think yes, and I think the Puffy trial. There's like people making jokes and stuff, but people got to look at that from a real standpoint and see that what we thought was one of the most powerful black men in the world was abusing black men and women all up and down the country, and nobody said nothing for 30 years, bro. Like the evilness
And
in
people
that.
knew, bro.
Yeah, they knew.
People knew.
Once I came in the industry, I heard he was a freak boy and all of that. Like that was like day one.
I'm not
you know
even
what
in
I'm
the
saying?
industry and I heard some of that.
There you
shit.
go. So
Shame,
so
man.
my thing is, I don't even like what I'm doing right now, and I want to end with this. Like the genre of music I do, I just coined this when I was in Canada recently. Shout out to my brother Raz. I leave again. I was in Canada August 9th. And August 10th, before I flew out of Toronto, me and an artist out there, a Muslim brother, he's a Trini brother who was raised in Toronto, Raz. Check him out. He's a talented artist. We're going back. I leave again. I go to September 15th in Charlotte. I start my tour back up in Canada again. But we came up with something called R&F. So, you got R&B is rhythm and blues. R&F is rhythm and faith. So I'm doing is I'm coining and creating a new genre of music where I don't even want to be in the same category with those freaks and rats and weirdos. I don't respect none of them. I don't want to be mentioned with them. I don't want to do interviews talking about them. I want to act like it never happened. And I'm glad that the music industry is being exposed. You know, a few months ago, everybody was praising Young Thug. They were saying, this guy stood tall. He didn't tell nobody. Yesterday, some video went viral. This guy talking to the police for over an hour. So for the last, I don't know how many years, people have been talking about how real this guy was, and he's a blood, and he's a gangster, and he's a rat. He's a rat. And his company, you know who he was signed to? Leor Cohen. Leor Cohen spent millions and millions of dollars to put him in front of my children and your children and everybody watching his children. And it's a reason why. When you see these, they're intentional. What did he see in that kid to say, this is who I want to make a superstar? He saw something in him that he knew that little boys, little black boys and girls would attach themselves to and imitate. When Young Thug came out, this guy was wearing dresses, throwing gang signs, disrespecting legends, all at the same time. And motherfuckers was talking about, yo, he real though. He's real in the streets. He's a real rat. And now he's got millions and millions of followers. He's influenced all these kids are sounding like him. Kids are mimicking him.
I don't even know who.
You don't, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the millions of people that watch his show. And the children were singing these songs over and over. Even me. He had a project with Rich Gang. He had a project with Rich Homie Quan, who recently passed away from drug overdose. That's another thing. Music propagating how cool drugs are. I'll never forget when I first signed my deal, bro. We was running around. I'm running around with Young Jeezy. I'm in the club every night with champagne. And one day it hit me. I'll never forget it. I was in Atlanta at the W Hotel. And I was like feeling like a little drunk or something. And I was like, I don't even like champagne. Why am I doing this shit? Because it just felt like it was part of the uniform. Like it was almost like if you didn't have a bottle of champagne, you was a lame. Right. So I usually like get the bottle, maybe take 2 sips, and then I start realizing, man, I drunk half that bottle. Then I'm like, I drank the whole bottle. Then I'm like, yo, I drunk like every day this week. And then I'm like, I drink now, and I don't even like this shit. So my thing is, on that note, I think the music industry is evil. I think it's cowardly, and I'm proud to be somebody that can, you know, Allah has put me in a position where now I have a vision and a plan to gracefully get away from it. Because, you know, for years people were like, when are you gonna stop doing music? When are you gonna stop doing music?
Now, and what I want people like you to do, I do believe, fuel the hatred, fuel the back and forth. Like, look what happened between East and West Coast for almost 20 years.
Yeah, you know,
we were hating people on the other side.
But you know who started that though, right? People got to look into that.
So what I'm saying is, and what does that do? That stops black people from uniting coast to coast.
Right, and people died, bro. Guess who didn't die? I can guarantee you,
the people that fueled it.
Yep, no Jewish people died from the East Coast, West Coast beef that they propagated. Because when the Vibe magazine did that cover, East versus West, I know for a fact no black guy owned it. No black guy was the final say on that magazine coming out. So it was never no East Coast, West Coast beef. Tupac was cool with Tech.
It was unheard of. I didn't even know.
Tupac was cool with Smith and Wesson. That was his brothers. Tupac didn't have no problem with Smith. Tech and the brother from they was ready to go to war on Tupac's side, and they represent Brooklyn, USA. So it was never no East. It was plenty artists. Fat Joe and Mac 10 was tight. Mac 10 was a blood from Inglewood. Fat Joe was one of the biggest dogs from the Bronx. It was a lot of relationships. Corrupt, who was a part of Death Row, he from my area, but he was one of the stars of the West Coast side of it. It was never no East Coast, West Coast that was propagated to cause black murders. Black murders is one of the biggest business in this wicked country. And with that being said, I gotta go.
And before you go, I think your mission and people that think the way you do and know that there's something wrong and that this is not by accident. Nothing is by accident.
Nothing.
Everything is the cutter of the law. I truly believe that hip hop is probably one of the only ways to fix what has been wept. Like, so meaning, you guys got to figure this out somehow and reverse the fucking damage that was created on purpose. So as it was used for the wrong reasons, I believe people like you and other people that think like you can reverse and use it as a weapon for good now.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Inshallah.
Because I do believe it's fundamental. And you got to look at it as straight propaganda.
And it's intentional. Think about this real quick.
Self-hatred, kill each other.
Look.
Program.
Look at this real quick.
Because you hear it enough, right? You believe the shit.
Yeah, but listen to this. I had a song called Philistine, right? I sent it over. The video got cleared to play on BET, which is owned by Viacom. They made me take one thing out the song. They called me up and said, you got to take this part out. I said, what part? In the song, I said, 5 million, something, stack some money on my Jew shit. In my head, I'm thinking I'm saying something respectful. I'm saying I want to stack my money up like you. Yeah. Now, they consider that anti-Semitic, which is crazy because they say you're it's a stereotype. But listen, in that same song, I talked about cop killers. I talked about selling drugs to my own people. I talked about sleeping with women. I talked about gangs. They didn't make me take any of that out. Not one part of that they made me take out, but they made me take out a part where I literally was, I thought, giving credit to them, but they don't play that shit. They made me take that one line out. Just the part where I say the J word.
And you're not even, and then again, you're not saying
and I wasn't
negative.
saying nothing
You were saying,
negative.
I want to stack money like a Jew.
Yeah, because
I want to make, because they're very successful.
They're very successful. That's what we always was raised to think. So.
Tone, what else you want to say to the world? Where can they find you, brother?
Hey, man, they can find me, man. Everything is my name, man. At Tone Trump. I don't got no hashtags, none of that shit. It's just my name straight through. TONETRUMP. Like I said, right now I'm doing something with Golden Dream Essentials, where for every candle you buy, we support a person in need. So with me saying that, I want everybody in this room, I should at least sell 1, 2, 3, about 6 of y'all in here. I should at least sell 6 candles a day. With each candle, we feed a person in need. GoldenDreamEssentials.com. Everything spelled the way it sounds. This right here is honey rum. This thing is amazing. Is it intoxicating? Would you agree? Can you co-sign this?
Very, very nice, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
I like it.
Alhamdulillah.
And you're saying it's made with halal products.
Everything is permissible. You know, I say that almost like jokingly because it's really impossible to have like an unhalal candle, but everything in it is permissible. It's handmade with love by a Muslim sister, as well as that shea butter baby you got right there. That's going to change your life. That's going to change your life and your skin and give you that noor. Yes, get a close-up on him smelling that beautiful, beautiful shea butter baby. MashaAllah. So, yeah, that's what I want to say, man. And in closing, man, I'm about to go out right now and shoot a commercial. My son's with me. Shout out to Aleem and Abdul. Shout out to Bek for having me. Shout out to Bryce. Shout out to NSP Security. Shout out to the whole family, man. MDF, my team, my company, MDF. Militant, disciplined, fearless. Fear Allah and Allah only. And everything is by the permission of Allah. Everything is inshallah. I love y'all, the biggest.
And remember, no matter what you've been through in life, no matter how hopeless it may seem, it ain't over till it's over, because you can always make a comeback. This is Bek Lover, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Comeback Team.
Bek Lover.